this later I'll show you a video of Emma Watson. Okay, whenever you see a liar sign here, okay, it means Emma Watson is actually her intonation is either she raised her intonation or it's low, but normally it's when she raises her intonation, then you will see it a liar sign here. Okay, this is a transcript. Then when you see too strong, too aggressive, isolating, anti-man, and unattractive is when she emphasizes certain things. When she emphasizes certain things, very often she repeats the words too strong, too aggressive. Can you see there's a rhythm there? Okay, I think it is right, I think it is right. So there's a rhythm, because when you want your audience to remember something, you need to emphasize. So when you emphasize, you need to repeat. When you repeat, the audience can remember. Okay, so whenever she is emphasizing something, I have changed the font color to red. Okay, so I want you to open this up, and I want you to listen to her speech. Okay, are you ready? Speech, the speech here. I was watching Harry Potter before class. Oh, it's a nice. I love Harry Potter. I grew up with Harry Potter. Okay, anyway, so get ready, yeah. I'm going to play the video.
Big round of applause for Phumzile Mlambo Nuka. Phumzile, thank you very much. Your words truly, truly inspiring, an excellent way, an inspired way to kick off our He for She campaign. He for She, I must say, is a solidarity movement, a partnership between women and men based on a shared commitment to fight against the persisting inequalities faced by women and girls. And now let's turn to a young woman who has chosen to lend her voice to this very important solidarity movement. She's a leading British actor, an advocate for gender equality in her own right. She's been involved with the promotion of girls' education for several years. As part of her humanitarian efforts, she's visited Bangladesh, Zambia, recently returned, as we just heard, from Uruguay on her first mission with UN Women. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming to this stage our co-host and the UN Women's Global Goodwill Ambassador, Emma Watson.
Your Excellencies, UN Secretary General, President of the General Assembly, Executive Director of UN Women, and distinguished guests. Today, we are launching a campaign called He for She. I am reaching out to you because we need your help. We want to end gender inequality, and to do this, we need everyone involved. This is the first campaign of its kind at the UN. We want to try and galvanize as many men and boys as possible to be advocates for change. And we don't just want to talk about it. We want to try and make sure that it's tangible. I was appointed as Goodwill Ambassador for UN Women 6 months ago. And the more I've spoken about feminism, the more I have realized that fighting for women's rights has too often become synonymous with man-hating. If there is one thing I know for certain, it is that this has to stop. For the record, feminism, by definition, is the belief that men and women should have equal rights and opportunities. It is the theory of the political, economic, and social equality of the sexes. I started questioning gender-based assumptions a long time ago. When I was 8, I was confused at being called bossy because I wanted to direct the plays that we would put on for our parents. But the boys were not. When at 14, I started to be sexualized by certain elements of the media. When at 15, my girlfriends started dropping out of their beloved sports teams because they didn't want to appear muscly. When at 18, my male friends were unable to express their feelings. I decided that I was a feminist, and this seemed uncomplicated to me. But my recent research has shown me that feminism has become an unpopular word. Women are choosing not to identify as feminist. Apparently, I am among the ranks of women whose expressions are seen as too strong, too aggressive, isolating, and anti-men, unattractive even. Why has the word become such an uncomfortable one? I am from Britain, and I think it is right that I am paid the same as my male counterparts. I think it is right that I should be able to make decisions about my own body. I think it is right that women be involved on my behalf in the policies and the decisions that will affect my life. I think it is right that socially I am afforded the same respect as men. But sadly, I can say that there is no one country in the world where all women can expect to receive these rights. No country in the world can yet say that they have achieved gender equality. These rights I consider to be human rights, but I am one of the lucky ones. My life is a sheer privilege because my parents didn't love me less because I was born a daughter. My school did not limit me because I was a girl. My mentors didn't assume that I would go less far because I might give birth to a child one day. These influences were the gender equality ambassadors that made me who I am today. They may not know it, but they are the inadvertent feminists who are changing the world today. We need more of those. And if you still hate the word, it is not the word that is important. It's the idea and the ambition behind it. Because not all women have received the same rights that I have. In fact, statistically, very few have been. In 1997, Hillary Clinton made a famous speech in Beijing about women's rights. Sadly, many of the things that she wanted to change are still true today. But what stood out for me the most was that less than 30% of the audience were male. How can we affect change in the world when only half of it is invited or feel welcome to participate in the conversation? Men, I would like to take this opportunity to extend your formal invitation. Gender equality is your issue too. Because to date, I've seen my father's role as a parent being valued less by society, despite my needing his presence lessons as a child as much as my mom. Young men suffering from mental illness, unable to ask for help, for fear it would make them less of a man or less of a man. In fact, in the UK, suicide is the biggest killer of men between 20 to 49, eclipsing road accidents, cancer, and coronary heart disease. I've seen men made fragile and insecure by a distorted sense of what constitutes male success. Men don't have the benefits of equality either. We don't often talk about men being imprisoned by gender stereotypes, but I can see that they are, and that when they are free, things will change for women as a natural consequence. If men don't have to be aggressive in order to be accepted, women won't feel compelled to be submissive. If men don't have to control, women won't have to be controlled. Both men and women should feel free to be sensitive. Both men and women should feel free to be strong. It is time that we all perceive gender on a spectrum instead of two sets of opposing ideals. If we stop defining each other by what we are not and start defining ourselves by who we are, we can all be freer. And this is what He for She is about. It's about freedom. I want men to take up this mantle so that their daughters, sisters, and mothers can be free from prejudice, but also so that their sons have permission to be vulnerable and human too. Reclaim those parts of themselves they abandoned, and in doing so, be a more true and complete version of themselves. You might be thinking, who is this Harry Potter girl? And what is she doing speaking at the UN? And it's a really good question. I've been asking myself the same thing. All I know is that I care about this problem, and I want to make it better. And having seen what I've seen, and given the chance, I feel it is my responsibility to say something. Statesman Edmund Burke said, "All that is needed for the forces of evil to triumph is for good men and women to do nothing." In my nervousness for this speech, and in my moments of doubt, I've told myself firmly, if not me, who? If not now, when? If you have similar doubts when opportunities are presented to you, I hope that those words will be helpful. Because the reality is that if we do nothing, it will take 75 years, or for me to be nearly 100, before women can expect to be paid the same as men for the same work. 15.5 million girls will be married in the next 16 years as children. And at current rates, it won't be until 2086 before all rural African girls can have a secondary education. If you believe in equality, you might be one of those inadvertent feminists that I spoke of earlier. And for this, I applaud you. We are struggling for a uniting word, but the good news is that we have a uniting movement. It is called He for She. I am inviting you to step forward, to be seen, and to ask yourself, if not me, who? If not now, when? Thank you very, very much.
Okay, if you can see, right? I'm not sure if you are looking at your document. Okay, so every time when she wants to begin saying something that is important, she wants to capture the audience's attention, she actually raises her intonation. When it's something that's very, very important, she wants to emphasize it even more, she repeats it. Okay, when there's a rhythm, there's repetition, audience can remember it better. Okay, so today we are going to look at an anatomy of an inspiring speaker. Okay, so this is for today's lesson. The first half of the lesson, we are going to look into the anatomy of an inspiring speaker. So the non-verbal and verbal language of your speech, how you can give a very persuasive and effective speech in terms of your voice, your posture, the way you stand, the way your hands gesture, and so on and so forth. Okay, so and also the intonation and certain things that you need to take into consideration when you are writing your speech. Okay, so first thing that you must have is actually a rock solid, unshakable confidence. For example, Emma Watson's body language, when she was giving the speech just now, she was calm and grounded. Okay, and she had the solidity, so solid was she in her convictions. That means she believed in what she totally say. Okay, she has that self-belief from a beyond personal source. That means not only she has experienced, but she has seen it, and but with her own eyes. And that sort of power can give you that impact to the audience. So you need to be very confident, and you must believe every single word you say when you are delivering a persuasive speech. Okay, next is the voice. You can hear that her voice was very calm and also very commanding. Okay, she was well practiced in her capacity as an actress. Okay, the way she speaks, her pacing, her preacher-like drama bring real passion to the speech. So the voice is very, very important. Okay, you need to have calm, commanding voice. Okay, and Emma Watson also used powerful, evocative language to draw emotional connections with her audience, such as, if men don't have to control, women won't have to be controlled. So very, very evocative and very emotive language to connect with your audience. So when you write your speech, it must be the same way as well. There must be emotions, it must be emotional. Okay, so you want to build connection with your audience. Next is the rhythm and repetition. So when you are giving your speech, remember rhythm and repetition is very important, because the intensity of the speech is built through bold statements and rhythmic repetition. So each repetition will build on the one before and will be reinforced, and is reinforced by Watson's ever increasing passion. So as you build rhythm, as you build repetition, one becomes more clearer, and what you call that, audience can remember that more and more, and the impact that it gives the audience is just uh, is increasingly bigger than the one that was previously repeated. So that is why rhythm and repetition is very important. So one good example from the speech is, if men don't have to be aggressive in order to be accepted, women won't feel compelled to be submissive. If men don't have to control, women won't have to be controlled. Can you see there's rhythm, there's repetition, and as you repeat, the impact becomes stronger than the one before. Okay, so when the impact is strong, okay, it makes an impression, a very very lasting impression on your audience. Your audience will remember this even after the speech has ended. Okay, so this speech is about gender equality, something that we have learned already. Okay, so next, when you talk, you need to talk with the people. You are part of it as well. You are not like a teacher or a mother telling your audience what to do. You need to speak with your audience. So that is why Watson was speaking with the audience, fully connecting them with her eyes and delivering a powerful rhythm in her speaking. So often is the speaker is flexible, vulnerable enough to connect with her audience who has the most powerful impact. So she's placing herself in the situation that she is also part of this experience, that she is telling you it's also her problem, and she wants all of us today to solve the problem in accordance to Monroe's motivated sequence. The problem first, then give you a solution. Okay? He for she, how can you be more powerful, more passionate, and more authentic in your public speaking? So one good way is to ditch the speech, the script. Do not look and read at the script. Remember this. When you are reading from the script, you cannot actually express your emotion. You won't be able to persuade your audience because you cannot connect with them. You are really rarely just reading. Okay, so the power is within you and you need to say it freely. Okay, not by reading it from a script. So that is very important. Okay, so in summary, you need to always maintain eye contact. The voice, the rhythm, the repetition, very important. Remember to always speak with the people and not at the people, but assume that you are also part of the problem. Okay, and you must have a rock solid, unshakable confidence when you are delivering your speech. Okay, so this is the anatomy of an inspiring speaker, how you can persuade people with all these verbal and non-verbal language.